Hello, and this is the Liberal Democrats. Today's video will be about no more cuts to the armed services. Something like that. Anyway, this video, although I'm a Liberal Democrat, don't think for 1 minute that all of us Liberals are not good on defence, or the military for that matter, because you're wrong. The cuts over the years to the armed forces by the Tories have been unacceptable and a total disgrace. I'm sorry, I'm against all cuts to the armed services. Throughout history, the armed services have played a really important role in defending the UK against all sorts of threats. I mean, whether it was dealing with Hitler or whoever, we know that we've always been able to rely on the British armed service to protect us. Now, when you cut the armed services, what happens a lot of the time is all the ones that have been in there for years, or a lot of the time, or some of them in some cases, will end up losing their jobs, obviously, and then a lot of them end up homeless, which is a disgrace. No serviceman from the armed service should be, who served in the armed forces, should be homeless. I mean, the Navy, especially the Navy, has played a really important role. But over the years, we've seen that cut down by Tories. We've been selling aircraft carriers left, right, and centre. We don't need to be doing that. We need to be we need to be increasing our Navy, not decreasing it. It's utter ridiculous. If you're an island and you're surrounded by sea, it would make sense to have a strong Navy. But as usual, no one gets that. Well, some people do. I mean, the Navy's a really important role. I mean, knowing how the world is today, whether it's, whoever it is, the world today is more dangerous than ever, really. Whether you're dealing with terrorists, or whether you're dealing with a nation, you don't know what's going to happen in the future. And I mean, it's not only the Navy. The RAF, the RAF have always been an important, well, I mean, they stopped the Germans getting air control, air superiority, whatever, over the English Channel and over England. So, the RAF, the Navy, two really important roles, and the infantry as well. Well, you need to have infantry, and the army as well. That's been, the infantry, the artillery, and whatever you've done for the services, whether you're an engineer, a medic, a cook, whatever you've done for the armed forces, whether you drive fighters, bombers, whether you're in submarines, whether you're in the Navy, whatever you've done for the arms, if you're in the armed services and you've been there for a certain amount of time, really, we should be thanking you, not. We've got a great deal to earn to the army. I mean, without the army, imagine we did not have enough. The thought of that's just ridiculous. The rate this is going, we won't even be able to defend ourselves from flipping small fleets. You don't know what's going to happen, do you? I mean, if a terrorist group these days decided that they land on UK shores, they could. There'd be no stopping them because our Navy's absolutely rubbish. Thanks to the Tory cuts, of course. you know, they're all putting it down. You know, I didn't mean the people in the Navy aren't rubbish. No, I didn't mean that. I meant the cuts that the Tories were making. You know, it's all I've made. It's ridiculous. You want to be increasing the Navy. You want to be increasing the flipping armies and whatever military thing it is. You want to be increasing it. Now, there are some people who say defence isn't particularly important, but defence is the thing that allows the United Kingdom to keep going. By now, who knows? Like I said, everyone has their role to play. The armed forces, we rely on them and people who work in them to keep the country safe, keep all these lunatics out. We know there are plenty of people out there who are against us. We know that there are loads. I'm not saying the whole entire world is, but we know somewhere out there are people who don't like Britain, who would do anything to sit here and destroy us. They've tried to over the centuries, so they will continue. The world will continue to challenge us. And as conflicts around the world escalate, I suppose, you know, they will continue. But I'll tell you what, Britain has had a long history of fighting off invaders. Perhaps maybe not exactly succeeding every time, but we've succeeded a lot of the time. Whether it's Hitler, or whether it was Napoleon or whoever, or the French Armada, for example, we've kept invaders out for hundreds of years, and we will continue to keep them out. Because let's face it, without the armed forces, we're all goners. That's my reason for doing the video. I just think, you know, I don't want to see any more cuts to the armed forces. And the problem is, when you cut the army, you usually have people who are trained. Now, it's all very well and saying rely on the, what do you call them? God, now, on my head. Can't remember what you call them now. They're sort of not in the army, they're being trained up. The territorials, that's it, there we go, the territorials, the army in training. Now, I admire them for standing up, fair enough, you know, for the country, but they haven't got quite the skills as the ones who have left, you know, did before. So, we don't want to be cutting back on armed forces. We really need to be increasing our military strength on all levels, because there are a lot of anti-British people out there, as we have just seen in Tunisia, unfortunately, with a horrible terrorist attack. It was a terrorist attack. I mean, it wasn't only British people who were killed, but, you know, it was absolutely disgusting and vile. Whoever launches these terrorists, whatever group, whoever the gunner was connected with, these anti-British people are just vile and disgusting. And the UN and the rest of the world must stand up for itself. All the countries in the UN must stand up for themselves as well against that kind of threat. Besides, the British Army is the best in the world. Anyway, Liberal Democrat signing out.